Hi all our YouTube friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today's task is putting up posted no trespassing signs. I'm a pretty approachable person. You guys have heard me all talk enough. There's always every year trouble with trespassing on any land, anywhere anybody lives. Currently, we're approaching deer hunting season. Now, you'd be surprised how many absolute strangers, and I will tell you, complete idiots, come and knock on my door and ask, oh hey, I saw some deer and turkey out in this field over here. Can I hunt? Hi, who are you? Where are you from? You know, how about like establish a relationship first? These people, just totally out of the blue, come by. They walk past two of these to get to my door, and on my door, there's an NRA sign. Yes, we have the right to bear arms, and you better bet Mommy Milestones is bearing arms at all times. When I don't have my arms, I have my pocket knife. If you've ever watched Gangs of New York, watch the part with Butcher Bill. He's showing Leonardo DiCaprio, this is an injury, this is a kill. He shows you where to stab people. We were at Culver's recently, and there was this real weirdo walking around. And I said, where's my pocket knife? Because one of the kids had taken it to cut hay. I'm like, slide that back to me. Because, you know what, in a situation, I'm going to get out one way or another. Passivity is not a thing that's real huge with me, and definitely not my husband. You wouldn't know it from all the videos, but he's quiet, and he's quite the alpha male. So, anyways, I'm going around putting up these no trespassing signs out along our field. Now, this is the roadside. I've got utility poles that cross the entire front of the property, and then a few down the hayfield going to the east. So this field is heavily traveled right now because the field across the road was planted to sugar beets, and because it was kind of a poo-poo summer, a lot of the sugar beets were too small and either didn't get pulled up or dropped through the harvester. So the deer are coming through here, very high traffic, going over there every night. So last night I came home from the store and I see something really weird looking at the top of the field. And I can't show it to you because it's way too far off, but there's like a color or something out of place. It's not an animal. I don't know. Could be a trash bag on the edge of the woods. So that's the reason for the signs. You know, the sun is going down. I really hate to have to walk over there to go see what's going on. I'll just watch it for a little while. Sometimes if I watch things, I'm like, it's nothing. The utility company came through here recently, and we're going to be getting some kind of internet service. And they went through here and they're finally all gone. Now, up above, they're obviously coming back to do some more work. Everyone around here has these no trespassing signs. So it's common practice in this neighborhood to just have a no trespassing sign right at your driveway so that people don't come up snooping around. You put them on your buildings, you know, put them on your front door if you want to. That doesn't stop people though. You'd be surprised at how many people think, hey, this doesn't apply to me. I want something from this person. And they just come on up to the door. So these are my favorite no trespassing signs to use. I think they're fiberglass reinforced. So they come on a roll, and that's the best way to buy them because you can just stick them in your pocket, and they're in my back pocket right now. And you just go along and staple them on your trees. They're flexible. You don't have to mount them to a board. And in this case, this is a copper ground line. I always put it behind there to help reduce some of the flapping from the wind because they usually last about 2 years. That's pretty good. Now, if you want to give somebody permission to come and hunt, you can put on your name and address. I don't want anybody coming and knocking on my door, and that's why we have a gate. So, you can put your phone number on it if you want them to call, but do you want every person in the neighborhood to have your telephone number? I don't. You can give them an email address if you wanted. Have some random email, like a Gmail account for that. So we're at the waterway here, and it's looking pretty grassy. And I would say it's ready to cut anytime we can get a stretch of dry. You know, right now we're kind of in a 3-day stretch of heat where it's been cold, but it's been wet, and it was, you know, lightning storming over here to the north the other day, and we just didn't want to cut any hay with the situation of it being rained on. And I've been looking at some of that acid preserver so that you can bale it when you don't have as much drying time as possible. So this is the farthest post. Oh, I've got one more along the roadside. Good thing I brought my roll. They put new guide wires here with that utility work, and they have an easement. That is definitely something to look into when you buy your property or when you're shopping for property, is to find out who has any easements, who has mineral rights. I really stress having ownership of those items, because you don't want somebody coming in here, setting up an oil rig or mining the place out because they have the mineral rights and they have, you know, dibs on whatever's under it, but you've got a crop standing in it. So the field over on the other side of the house, all over this entire neighborhood, they had the easement. They go right through everyone's field. They were knocking down standing corn to get to these poles. So for putting up my signs, we have done boards in the past and attached them to the poles, and then we've just also attached the signs directly to the pole, and I think they tend to do better when they're actually wrapped on the pole instead of the flat board on there. So to attach them, I use my arrow stapler. My mom had one of these my whole life while I was growing up for doing yard sales. My mom was the yard sale queen. She would buy things and resell them on her yard sale, mark them up. She had 4 kids that were constantly growing. She would buy all of our stuff used on yard sales, and what we didn't get on yard sales, it was either given to us or picked up as clearance items at a store, super cheap. There weren't thrift stores and stuff like that so much then. There was like the old stinky, you know, like Salvation Army type stores or Volunteers of America at the time. They've come a long ways now. I've got a video coming up on that where the kids and I did some shopping. So watch for that video. But as far as the hunting and the trespassing, our feeling is we're investing our time in our land and of course our money. So if people want to hunt or they happen to catch me outside, the only thing I have to say is I'll have to see when the next land lease is up. And they immediately just like, oh, okay, thanks. Because they don't want to pay any money. There's enough land around us that is state land. And in Michigan, the state land, got a wonderful mulberry bush growing right here, right up a utility pole. No sign on that one, you can't even get to it. I'm walking along a deer path right now on the edge of the road, and I'm doing so avoiding a bunch of prickers. This field is ready to be cultivated up again, and the prickers are real low, so they're not getting above my shoe right now, but it hurts when they catch me. So what I know about the state hunting land in Michigan is a lot of people will try to kind of scout out your areas, and you can't claim an area. There are people that set up deer cams and they get stolen, and then they all, you know, they're posted ads on Craigslist and signs. Who stole my deer cam? I want it back. You left out in the middle of state land. What do you think is going to happen? So I know there are good responsible hunters and good responsible use, but you would be surprised how many times from my house I can see across my hayfield all the way to the woods and all the way over to the next property, and I will see headlights, I will see flashlights, and hear people. So when I hear something, if I have to stop what I'm doing and go step outside, then I do, because I think it's crazy that people just, hey, let's go over and do that. Well, if you do catch somebody, yeah, you can go approach them yourself. My husband will. He'll rip them in half. He's not going to be nice about it. Anybody who used to hunt here, they were at our door before we were even moving in, waiting for us in the driveway. So, anybody who had deer stands, they were allowed to go out and go get them in a reasonable amount of time. A lot of people didn't come and get them because they thought maybe, hey, I'll still be able to hunt. The previous owners had a deal. If you would mow our lawn for us, we'll let you hunt. There are motorcycle hills that have been put in here. Deer blinds. I'm pulling garbage out of the woods every trip we make out there. And I just learned the people who had hunted here did not take care of the land. They used the land and they abused it. So in my mind's eye, those people aren't worthy to be on my property because of my own safety, the health of my family, and the health of our land. We've been working on going organic for years, and I don't want to have to deal with people, you know, well, I'm gonna go change my oil out there on my motorcycle. I don't care if there's motocross motorcycle hills out there. We don't motocross. And, you know, we've had friends that just showed up with their motorcycles when we first moved here. We found out real fast who our friends were. No call, hey, what's going on? Just show up, dump their wife and kids off at the house, and hey, yeah, we're gonna go out and go check the woods. No, we kind of got work to do. So, if you know who you are and you're watching this, we knew what you were doing and you were dumped. Okay, so it was getting cold. I had to go get a coat, and I will tell you, one of the best things you can do to keep trespassers off your property is to have a gate. It's not enough just to have a gate and leave it open all the time. Husband leaves for work a lot of time, leaves it open. Sometimes he's thinking, oh, we'll be right back. It is really best to keep it closed all the time. Now, we do the roadside stand during the summer months. The rest of the time of year, it's like it just has to be closed, and it makes a huge difference. Now, sometimes people will walk around because we don't have a front fence. That is a situation that I am working on remedying. I'm not real sure what to do about that. If you have traffic in front of your house, tell me what you do for fencing, because like a split rail fence looks nice on a farm, but it's not really doing anything. Somebody can still hop over it. Like my pig fence here, it's posts and 3 slat high. That really adds up. And we did, I believe, 16 footers. And those posts, you know, they're 8 feet long. The only time I will cross a no trespassing sign is to help somebody in the case that happened this weekend. We were leaving to go to town. One of our neighbors that is homesteading on like 5 or 10 acres, one of their pigs was out, and it was in the neighbor's front yard, fortunately happily snacking away on a pumpkin left over from Halloween. A lot of people around here have decorations through fall, like for Thanksgiving and stuff. So it was a whole pumpkin. She was very happy. She was not where she was supposed to be, and who knows how long she was out. So we went ahead and went past. Our pigs don't get out. They can burrow out if they wanted to. These are really big pigs, and they have way more space than they ever had where they came from, and our barn pigs that got put in down there. So if you give them enough space, they're not going to want to get out. But another thing we do too, we paddle lock them so there's no chance of an accident with the kids. We don't use hog fencing, we use cattle fencing. The hog fencing is like 3 feet high. The pig that got out over at the neighbors went over a 3 foot high pig fencing, and they will help each other out too. They'll team up and let another pig kind of like stand on their back. It's called a piggyback ride for a reason, folks. There's all these farmisms. They really come from farms. So we got her back home, got her back to her area, got her in an electric fence area for the horses. Hopefully she stayed in. It's hunting season. I really hate to find out that she got shot, and these aren't neighbors that we know, you know. So, of course, they had their camera system all up. They'll find out that we were there one way or another. But nobody was home, and, you know, we had to go through their barns to try to get her back in. So, I'm just kind of out getting things buttoned up and working on everything here. I was able to go down the entire length of the property and get those no trespassing signs up. So hopefully no trouble. I did have, at the end of the week, a car sitting on the edge of the road. We have more traffic here than I ever thought we would have had when we looked at purchasing our property. So I do recommend you scouting your neighborhood when you are looking for land, because you know, you do that in the city to check out the neighborhood, but out in the country, you're just like, oh, we're out in the country. We have a lot more traffic than we had ever anticipated. So there was a car parked on the side of the road. We're actually in hunting season now. I'd kind of forgotten about bow season and whatnot, but we've been hearing the firearms go off. And I just had to walk over there. We had a bunch of deer. I can see our hay field from the property, you know, and feeding the cows. There's a car sitting over there, and he had something hang out at his door. Now, we've had coyote hunters shoot from the road into our fields, so I wanted to go see what was, you know, like actually just make my presence known. So I just walked right up to their car. They never even saw me coming. The guy was sitting there taking pictures, and he was pulled off the side of the road onto our field edge to photograph deer. And I thought, people are going down this road. It's, you know, 6 o'clock traffic, people coming home from work. So I just, you know, politely said, hey, you know, you having car trouble? And it just kind of lets them know that you are there, that there are other people around, and, you know, be safe. Because number one, if he was just there to take pictures and not like scouting for a place, then he could get shot if he walked along and we had deer hunters out in the woods. And, you know, I just always let people know that there are people around, that there are hunters around, there's neighbors around, there's family around, and that, you know, it's just not a good idea to go walking around in this neighborhood unknown on people's property. So let me know what you do about trespassers in your neighborhood. We are far enough out that I have called the police and called DNR. The state police were the ones that ended up coming out, and my husband beat them all here with ample time to situate everything and diffuse any situation that was happening. So, you know, just kind of, what do you do? Who do you call when something's going on? Especially if you are home with the kids, if you're a lady, and, you know, kind of how do you handle a trespasser? You know, what do you do? Because, you know, you're out in the country. Who knows how close your nearest neighbor is? Our nearest neighbors are within shouting distance. Our good neighbors are within a mile. And, you know, certain people can get here faster than others. So let me know down in the comments below. Remember to hit that like button if you like this video. Hit that little bell notification so that you know when the next video comes up. And I'll see y'all next time. I gotta get to it. Bye-bye.